Hey, hey, it's Friday. It's the end of the week. We all made it. We survived. Bitcoin's pumping.
Does your week end like on Friday? Are you like, wow, the weekend?
No.
Yeah.
This week it does. One of my kids has had a lot of hockey this week, and today's the first off day. So to me, it feels like a freaking holiday. Although
I feel like you work like in your sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do have stuff to do this weekend. But yeah, okay, we got lots to talk about today.
Yeah, we're gonna end on a good note. The week is gonna end on a good note. This is more hyped and fun, which is actually pretty fun because usually we do like FU Fridays, but nothing that bad happened.
You know, we might have to change it.
Yeah.
To UF Fridays. I don't know what UF stands for yet, but we'll come up with maybe a new abbreviation for something, because we're now in an excitement market. We're not in a FU where bad shit is constantly being said. We're now more in the let's get pumped and excited about stuff. That's what I was going to say. Before we get into what we're talking about today, I think what's really exciting about this is for the first time in a couple of years, everybody I know is excited to be at work for the most part, except for Ceara. She's not excited to be at work, but everybody else generally is excited. But also just the positive outlook on the future and working towards, again, tangible goals that we know we can actually pursue in the market conditions that are available. So it's very, very exciting, and I'm happy to be in a good mood today. Okay, what are we talking about?
Coinbase has exceeded our expectations, and we're going to talk about it. And then we're going to talk about Elizabeth Warren, who also exceeded our expectations in a different way.
Totally
and then we're going to end on Shiba.
Shib magazine. Whoop, whoop. All right. Well,
let's go.
I guess let's just go.
Let's go.
No, I have to say, Gensler is an interesting looking dude.
I think I got rid of all of our Gary Gensler
And so is CZ. They're just strange looking guys. Like if I ever saw either of them in real life and didn't know who they were, I'd be like, who the fuck is that guy? Anyways, just an observation from our really beautiful
looking at your reflection in the monitor. Okay, so Coinbase is doing real ding dong well. This is kind of funny because people were talking in terms of the Super Bowl and there not being any ads that maybe all of these companies are doing really poorly and they don't have any money to spend and they're not making money and maybe crypto's outdated and blah, blah, blah. But Coinbase has surpassed anybody's forecasts. So it was estimated that shares were only going to be worth like 2 cents, or earnings, I guess, were only going to be 2 cents this last quarter. And they were over $1. So good on you, Coinbase, for running a company. I think that's pretty impressive, though. But their earnings, their revenue is way beyond what anyone thought it would be their revenue is $953.8 million for Q4 last year, which is pretty big. But their trading volume in Q4 increased by 100% compared to Q3, which I think is a pretty big deal, honestly.
So Coinbase makes a pile of money off of conversions to fiat or from fiat also. And whenever we go from bear to bull, obviously people get excited and are putting money in and doing all these things. And it's almost extortion level fees still, which I'm excited to eventually be competed down. But right now it's obnoxious. Like the fees to convert and to withdraw or deposit are insane. Anyways, what I find funny about this is Coinbase seems to somehow be the canonical measuring stick for the health of crypto. And when the bear market had started, this was a prevailing headline, was Coinbase isn't making money. The stock is plummeting. People aren't sure about its future, its ability to deal with regulation, its ability to survive a bear market. Bullshit. What this should tell you is that, again, what we're trying to do with Go Fund Yourself is make the valleys a little bit less valley-like and make the peaks a little bit less peak-like and get a little less FOMO-y about things and just make smart decisions. Hopefully we help do that. But anyways, I think it's interesting. It's kind of like saying go Google something. It's like, well, how is crypto doing? I don't know. What's the Coinbase stock at? Kind of ridiculous, but it is in a way an interesting measuring stick because it somewhat encompasses multiple assets and multiple asset strategies, centralization plus now base sort of decentralized. Anyways, I am a fan. Don't get me wrong. I think Brian's doing a great job. They're definitely representing the space really nicely. We've talked about this a lot. So good for them. I mean, obviously they're showing they deserve to be there. They deserve to be publicly traded and are returning the rewards to the investors. So I think it's freaking awesome. It's a good news story.
It is a good news story, and it means that there's positive sentiment in the crypto community, but it also means that the average person is trading crypto. There's no other way that Coinbase is making that cash. So I just like to see that there is activity on centralized exchanges, even though I'm more of a DeFi person. I just like to see it because that means that people are back to using it, which means that they see something going on in the market.
Yeah, it kind of makes me wonder. That's a lot of Americans. It's not all Americans that feed revenues in Coinbase, but
a lot of Americans though.
Predominantly Americans. The question that raises in my mind is what happens if and when regulation comes in. There's obviously a lot of people that are purchasing assets that are wanting to participate in crypto are not supposed to be able to participate in most protocols even currently. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out, and I think is probably something that works in our favor in terms of leverage with regulators, because there's a lot of people that will be impacted by whatever decision they make. So they have to make it consciously and not just based on lobby. Anyways.
Yeah, I feel like this is also some of the good news that's come through, like the positive sentiment about ETFs and the Bitcoin happening and all the pieces that we've been talking about, they accumulate into this. So even though this was last quarter, it was people who are paying attention to streams like this one or the news or their portfolios and saying, I should probably get trading again to get a leg up on this bull. So I think this is just all of our previous people who are engaged in crypto kind of left. Well, this is their resurgence. This is them coming back.
I think I hope it's them coming back. Another big revenue driver for Coinbase in particular in this quarter is the ETF, because a few of the major ETF providers are using Coinbase custody. So obviously that's a revenue center. But a lot of the Grayscale Trust BTC was sold via Coinbase. So there was like constant reports of billions and billions being sent from Grayscale to Coinbase, most likely to be liquidated because that was redemptions from their BTC Trust, because their fees are a lot higher than everybody else. Anyways, a lot of things, but I think what that again just goes to prove is that, you know, Coinbase seems to have a pretty good pulse on where things are about to head, and have, you know, made some right decisions. So I'm super excited about it. I think it's great.
So Coinbase is soaring. You know what else is soaring is a Bitcoin flag over the Capitol building.
Man, you're
hold on. Before we get
so cheesy some days.
Warren, right? Elizabeth Warren is like on your freebie list, right?
If I was to have a freebie list, she would be the only person on there, mainly because she's Native American.
Is she?
No, she's not, but she claimed she
was.
was.
Like, that's not real.
She claimed she was for like years.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Super strange. Anyways, so there's been a lot of rumblings over the last few years since, in particular, Biden's been in power, that in order for Elizabeth Warren to step aside and put her kind of vote of confidence behind Biden, that a lot of her staffers and allies got senior roles in the White House and had an outsized influence on monetary policy and a lot of these other types of things, financial services, et cetera.
And they were pretty funny, right? They're pretty funny about crypto, pretty funny about Bitcoin, pretty funny about ETFs, pretty funny about security surrounding all those things.
So you could probably make a pretty solid case that at least a couple to three of the 4 years that Biden's been around, they've been fairly hostile towards crypto for all intents and purposes. It's only of late, in particular when BlackRock started to get involved, that regulators and society and government had to take it seriously, couldn't avoid it anymore. But Warren has been probably the most vocal critic of Bitcoin and all cryptocurrency. But all of a sudden, her office now has said, hey, we should be flying a flag over the U.S. Capitol to honor Satoshi Nakamoto.
And they did on December 18th. So I just love all of this. I am speechless and flabbergasted. That's what our tax dollars go to.
Well, here's the problem, right? And this is what is so frustrating about politics in general, but also in building in a space that is so very dependent upon some decisions of people in Washington. They don't have any strong convictions.
Absolutely.
This flip-flopping is actually the standard, not the exception. And it's obnoxious. It's not just Elizabeth Warren, but she's been probably the most egregious of everybody. And then here she is, let's raise a flag to show our respect.
Can we have a picture of this flag?
No, I don't have. Is there a picture? Do we have a picture of it?
I haven't seen the actual flag itself yet.
Is that actually it?
No way. Is that actually it? It might be.
Is that it, producer boy?
I gotta look.
That's freaking hilarious.
Hey,
DGen Roundtable.
Similar to that. Oh my gosh, but
DGen Roundtable's here. What's up?
Yeah.
This one just Ceara was laughing because the look on my face when I was reading the article for the first time was probably one of shock / disgust, and would be pretty accurate. I can't handle Warren. I don't like people that I feel like are kind of fair weather, whatever the prevailing winds they are, and when being Aboriginal worked in her favor, she happened to be Aboriginal. And
not anymore.
Now when being a Bitcoin maxi is all the rage because Biden had laser eyes. Well,
I was gonna say Biden had laser eyes, and now why not?
And now Warren's flying the Bitcoin flag.
From her, right? Because she flew this flag in December on HODL Day, and then he got laser eyes, and maybe they're just slow adopters to Bitcoin.
I thought that she was asking for this upcoming.
No, it happened in December.
Oh shit! I thought the application was for next year. This happened? How did we not hear about this?
I don't know.
It is a clown world, brother. We're getting some comments from our friends from DGen Roundtable, but it's so insane. I don't know. Whatever. Elizabeth Warren. I hope we never have to talk.
I like this because genuinely the reason that I like this whole article and this whole dumb thing that's gone on is that it is a reminder to grain of salt all of the news you get. To not trust your government and to do your own research, because how can you trust Elizabeth Warren saying I'm super anti-Bitcoin and then flip-flopping to this? Does that onboard new crypto people, or does it make them more wary of the space? And then think about that in terms of all your other policies, in terms of the prices that you're seeing on natural resources, your housing, or everything else. So I just think this is a good indicator.
Yeah,
of the news.
So he being Patrick Maloney.
Yeah.
How this all started is former representative Sean Patrick Maloney is going to be apparently the ambassador to the OECD, and for that reason has to relinquish any involvement in crypto. Why this matters is there's been a lot of lobby in America around crypto regulation, both from incumbent traditional finance and then of course from the crypto side. And Warren, again, this is indicative of why I don't like her, and I'm very frustrated by even reading this stuff, is on one side of her mouth she's talking about rah Bitcoin and it's the future of finance, blah blah blah, and then the other side of her mouth she's talking about snuffing out crypto lobby, and she sees this as a win. Anyways, this whole war on crypto politics, it's so ridiculous to me that none of them even care or know what they're talking about. It's all about power and control and votes. And
you mean the Capitol building isn't heated by Bitcoin miner servers?
It should be. That would actually be pretty smart.
All right, let's talk about Fetch.
The U.S. government should get it. No, the U.S. government should not get into Bitcoin mining. Forget that shit.
Okay, let's talk about Fetch. Come on. Did you read about Fetch? I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, set it up. Why do you think it's cool?
Because I like anything that's multi-chain, multi-network, safe bridging. And this is connecting ETH, Arbitrum, and Shibarium. But So, I mean, Shiba is pretty big right now. There's a lot going on with that. It's nice to see them having some legitimacy, also maybe gaining some utility by being able to bridge to somewhere useful. And I'm also pretty bullish on Arbitrum, so I like seeing anything that's coming out from them. I think the name is hilarious and clever, and frankly, like it reflects, all of the Doge meme coins, but it also reflects what you can do in terms of the multi-chain bridging solution. So I love that from a marketing perspective and from a branding perspective. I love that it's partly a DAO. So people have voted on wanting this and voted on wanting like the particular networks. Just everything about it is fantastic to me, but anything that increases our interoperability on chain, I'm here for.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of this. Of Fetch in general. I think it's just great. It's a good sign for, again, like you said, interop. I struggle a little bit with Shibarium because I think it's not needed. But they are trying to do some interesting things. So I don't want to poo-poo entirely on it. But there's kind of two schools of thought on this like bridge thing. Are we better off as a space to have only a couple bridges that support almost all the networks? Or are we better off to diversify and have multiple bridge technologies and let consumers pick the best? I don't know what the best approach is. I think probably some combination of both. You have some other options, but there's a few that end up being somewhat canonical. What I've seen though, and why I like this, I think is when ecosystems build a unique bridge or a native bridge, there's just a different level of accountability for, and for lack of a better phrase, give a fuck about what happens to that ecosystem. So not that the larger wormholes, layer zeros, Axelars of the world don't care about each ecosystem. This is just a little bit different. And so I think these are cool. It seems to be where a lot of layer ones are going now, is building their own bridge, or a few of them are. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if it plays out. This to me is great because, I mean, Shibarium's not going to do shit until there's a way to get assets to and from in an efficient and trustworthy process. And so here we go. I think it's great. Shit, I'm not very funny today.
No, you're super hyped today.
Yeah.
I also don't have any fun about this though. I just want to point out how big Shibarium has gotten also before we move on. So they have only 1.3 million wallet addresses, but they have 349 million transactions on Shibarium now. So if you're thinking, Fetch is only going to serve a few people, could serve more than 1.3 million wallet addresses, which is substantial. So it is time for them to release something like this. But does Shiba, the coin, like the token, does it have any utility other than memeing? Can you buy stuff with Shiba? Can you pay for your Twitter Blue with Shiba?
Not yet. That's Doge, though. I think it's going to be.
I know. I don't know. Musk likes all the little meme coiny.
Yeah, I still think it's meme coiny. I mean, I know they're trying to do some interesting things. They have a unique stablecoin structure for validation, and they've got some interesting things that they're trying to do. I think it's just really hard when your brand has entirely been established around meme. How
you don't like it?
Well, no, but if you can pull it off, I think it'd be interesting. This will be something that we'll use as a case study if they pull it off. How you can go from like DGen anonymous like shitcoin to actually signaling and then producing something potentially useful and then successfully positioning the brand. That'd be a huge win if they could pull it off. They have a lot of money, so I mean, that's part of the battle. You have to have cash to survive. And so, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not rushing to use Shibarium.
Well, they have new utility too. For example, with all that money, they are releasing a magazine. So now we get Shib magazine.
You and I have been talking about this for a long time. I think, media properties in the Web3 space leave a lot to be desired still. And so I think anytime that we see, radio or talk platforms, anytime we see new podcasts that are being done consistently, obviously I'm biased, but I like to see that because I think we just haven't established consistent and believable enough media. A lot of it's been hypey and, really shilly and weird and pay only for, to be discussed on these shows and different things. I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of that.
Actually, shout out to DGen Roundtable, who sometimes comes to our pod. They have a whole channel of things that are also not very shilly.
Exactly.
And there are some others that we love, like Rug Radio on Twitter Spaces. I listen to Rug Radio probably 3 times a week.
Yeah. They have amazing programming at Rug Radio.
Yes.
But I mean, we just haven't seen enough of that. Another one, this is going to sound kind of goofy, but another one that I listened to a lot back in the day was Ivan on Tech, because he was a little bit shilly, but was still pretty objective back then. I don't even know if the guy's still around. Let's just take a look. But for all of our viewers, check out DGen Roundtable. They put on some really cool content that I think is a good complement to what we're doing. A little bit more like, well, DGen-y. A little bit more token oriented, trading oriented, super cool. Anyways,
I would start your morning routine of DYOR here, and then go into the deeper dives.
move on to DGen Roundtable, and then you're set. But yeah, like I think magazines, it'll be interesting to see what kind of subscriber numbers they can get. I'm assuming it's going to be a digital magazine. Given that they're kind of a meme, it will be interesting to see.
I've got to say, I would love a crypto magazine. I looked at that as one of the first initiatives when I started here, like a physical magazine that was distributed in bookstores and at the airport. That's what I want. I don't want
magazines anymore.
People totally buy magazines when they get on the plane. It's wacky. I couldn't believe how many people had magazines last time I was on a plane.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, love it.
I haven't bought a magazine for like a decade, at least.
Yeah, but you can't read.
I can't even think of the last time I bought one. It's crazy. Anyways, magazines. But I mean, again, I think we've talked a lot about this, about, how to create consistent and unique kind of media angles for how to help people learn about the space and stay abreast of what's happening, not just the news pod, but other ways, to engage audiences. And so a magazine for certain people would be amazing. I'm more of a pictures or audio type person.
As I said, you can't read, so no wonder you don't buy magazines.
No, I can't write either. So all I can really do is talk.
I'm teasing. Okay, one thing that is cool about this magazine is they didn't just go in and publish something that they think, which I think would be a pretty big. I think that's what a lot of places do, and then they're surprised nobody cares. So they actually got some pretty good partnerships for their first issue. For example, Bad Idea AI, which is a pretty big deal, and D3. So they're going to have some pretty cool features. It might be worth checking out.
I mean, I don't want to poo-poo on it. If there's a nice digital version, like if it simulated a magazine on my computer screen,
they use like Flipbook or something.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be all about it. I'd probably read it. Will I buy it at a newsstand? Probably not.
All right.
But definitely interested. I'm excited for more, again, media types in the space. Less BitBoy, more Fudge Yourself, DGen Roundtable.
Heck yeah. Okay, well, that is a super hypey Friday. So, happy weekend going into it. It's a long weekend in a lot of places. It's a long weekend in Canada next week.
Yeah, we hopefully have a lot of good, exciting stuff to talk about on Monday. Let's hope the market doesn't completely implode on itself in the next 4 hours, which often happens.
JD.
Hey, gotta be a little funny. I mean, the show is called Go Fudge Yourself. And with that in mind, Ceara, go fudge yourself.
Go fudge yourself.
Later.